Clarence Thomas, saying that he was an Uncle Tom. What did you mean by that?
Well, if you look at his decisions on the court, they have been adverse to the minority community, and the people I represent have a real issue with an African American not being sensitive to those issues.
Calling him an Uncle Tom, though, isn't that a racially charged term?
For some it is, but to others it's the truth.
All right, that was Bernie Thompson. Welcome to Gimme 5. Of course, you're familiar with the fact that he went on a radio show and called Clarence Thomas and Uncle Tom and Mitch McConnell a racist, and right on down the line, then doubled down and would not take it back. Well, James Claiborne, congressman, of course, was on with Joe Scarborough on the MSNBC Morning Joe, and he was asked about those remarks. Let's watch.
A fellow Democrat, a fellow Southern colleague, Vinnie Thompson, has called Clarence Thomas a, quote, Uncle Tom. He doubled down on that again yesterday. He suggested Mitch McConnell was a racist, said a lot of really inflammatory things. Does that cause you any concerns?
No, I think Benny Thompson, as you know, is a very close friend. Ben and I knew each other for 20 years before we ever came to Congress.
You think it's all right to be calling the Supreme Court justice
all of us,
Uncle Tom?
All of us have ways of expressing our disappointment.
All of us have ways of expressing our disappointments? By calling someone an Uncle Tom? Well, what if you don't like a white person and you call him a slur against whites? Or you don't like a Jewish person and you call him a slur against Jews? Or you don't like a black person, and a liberal black person, of course conservative Uncle Tom's acceptable, and you call him a slur against blacks? Would that be, oh, that's our way of expressing our disappointment? Did Donald Sterling do that, Congressman? My goodness, here's more.
I am very disappointed in Clarence Thomas.
Do you think he's an Uncle Tom?
Well, I don't know.
You don't know if the Supreme Court Justice is an Uncle Tom?
Well, you know, he's not the only Supreme Court Justice there now. We have 9 of them.
Right, but he's the only one that's been called an Uncle Tom. I think that's an extraordinary insult.
Well, that may be, and you have to ask Benny Thompson about that. As you know, there are certain words and phrases I do not use, but I am, and I will never back away from this. I am extremely disappointed.
Oh, I wouldn't use the word. But if he wants to use the word, hey, you know, that's how he expresses himself. Oh, selective expression, selective acceptance of selective expression. It is sickening, sickening. And this is, you know, good for Joe. And Joe didn't let up. Here's more.
You know, Joe, we come to the Congress, or we go to these appointments, and we're all to bring to those bodies our experiences to help broaden the application of justice in this country.
Clarence Thomas has had an experience of being genuinely Southern and being proudly black, just like you, and his experience led him to a different philosophy about government, and I don't know that he should be castigated because his experience as a black American is different from Benny Thompson's experience as a black American. Can't we disagree with each other without insulting each other and calling each other names?
Sure we can.
Sure we can. Well, then Mika decides that she better step in. This has gone far enough.
And I talked to someone yesterday who told me that they were highly insulted by some of the expressions that Clarence Thomas has made in his writings, in his opinions. A lot of African Americans find his opinions very insulting.
All right,
but he has a right to that.
Benny Thompson, though? So you have no problems with him calling him Uncle Tom?
Well, Benny Thompson's a very close personal friend.
Right.
We don't always use the same words and phrases.
Is Mitch McConnell, do you think, is Benny Thompson thinks Mitch McConnell?
I don't know. You have to minute about that.
All right.
I'm not going to get into that.
Okay, I'm just
around in circles.
I'm not going around in circles.
Yes, it is time now to wrap.
It is time to wrap. Mika has laid down the law. But do you see how pathetic it is when he sits there and says, well, said nothing against the Uncle Tom comment? Pathetic. On the Steve Malzberg Show.